I know a bunch of you just said, we can't hear you. Welcome to Alive here at 1111 True Crime. I'm Mama D. Caught it right away. I don't know how I got muted, but we're going to deep dive into an update. Today is the 10th of June, 2025. We're doing an update on Travis Decker, and there is a lot of new information that came out over the last few days. I put it in a little nutshell for us so that we can break it down. We've got searches revealed. We've got the time of the death of the little ones revealed. We've got information where a family member has spoke out about Travis. So stay tuned. And with that, I'm just going to jump over real quick, like I said, live audience. So if you are live, I want to say thank you for joining me now. And if you are on replay, thank you for joining me now, right? Welcome back if you're returning. You were just about to type. I was muted. Thank you, Nikki UK. I appreciate that. I'm learning every day of my life that sound is the most important thing on YouTube. You can be missing a picture, but don't mute, right? All right, you guys. So this is serious and not a laughing matter. We have a man that they are searching for named Travis Decker, who this is absolutely alarming. And I'm not going to go into the whole scenario. I'm just going to give you the debriefing real quick of what has occurred. There was a divorced couple that share three daughters, Evelyn, Olivia, and Peyton. Is it Peyton? I want to make sure I get it right. Peyton. She allowed the visitation because it was court ordered. He takes the girls, doesn't return with them. Later, they found at a campground his truck and the bodies of the three girls. So now he is on the run in Washington. We don't know where he is. That's the thing. I did a little looking and I thought about it. And this whole thing about where he searches, and really, is that a red herring? In other words, is that a intended misdirect in the opposite direction? Because there's some information I kind of want to break down with you and get your thoughts and feelings on. Are they going in the right direction looking for Travis? They say they're narrowing the search, and they even tell us where they're narrowing the search. But I don't think that's a good idea. Are they tracking him? With as much military, even the National Guard being called out, have they circled the area basically? And they're so, not to get too graphic, but I have been part of the deer hunting team, and they do a drive, a push to get their target, right, to move in a certain direction. And so I caught a little bit of that in what is shared today with some of the news reports, is they're making a drive to push him in a different direction, hoping he comes out the other side, which again made me think of my deer hunting days. Now, if that was a red herring, like I said, an intentional misdirect, could Travis actually be going south, which he's only got to go through 3 states, and he's in Mexico? Yeah, they're big states, but they're also desert. And I'm going to show you where Travis served. He would be equipped mentally with that kind of travel indeed. Hi, Claire, that girl. Hello. OKG is in the house. Zoe, thank you for modding. Ocean Deep, welcome back. What'd you say about my hair? My hair looks beautiful. Well, thank you, lovely. It took me about 2 minutes and a little twist and no bobby pins. I love you guys. Thank you. All right. Hi, that girl again. Okay. Hey, Rach, not that Rach. Good to see you. Hi, Dawn. All right, let's get into this. Let's add this on. So, did he have a 4-day head start? Yes, is the answer. Travis had a 4-day head start because the girls, you're going to hear in this report that it's been revealed that they have been gone since that Friday, and they didn't even know it or find them until Monday. That gives him a 4-day head start. Let's get into this. So, this is from KOMO as of June 9th, yesterday, but it's got some information we need to cover. So the manhunt nope, let's start over when I can talk. Manhunt intensifies as authorities close in on suspect Travis Decker near Ingalls Creek. On Friday, the medical examiner completed the autopsies on the Decker sisters. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office announced Monday that Decker's sister's cause of death was determined to be suffocation, and the manner of death was determined to be homicide. Based on the investigation, the medical examiner says the girls most likely passed on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So he's got all of that time after that happened. They have found non-human blood on the truck as well as male blood, but we don't have it confirmed as Decker's. It just gets strange. Okay, let's do this one. Let me move my overlays. It's always a chase around the board, isn't it? There we go. And let's take that off. There we go. Manhunt intensifies as authorities close in on suspect Travis Decker near Ingalls Creek. So the article goes on to say Decker is wanted for 3 counts of red rum, also passing away. Remember, I work with YouTube. I have to censor my words. And kidnapping after his 3 young daughters were found passed away at a campground near Leavenworth on Thursday. Federal prosecutors charged Decker with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Goes on to say, court documents obtained by KOMO News says Decker's Google searched, how does a person move to Canada, how to relocate to Canada, and Jobs Canada in the days before he kidnapped his own daughters. Now we're going to stop right there. It was the day before he picked up the girls. We'll find that out. The day before he was searching that. Is that a misdirect? Everybody and their brother knows he left his phones in that truck and that they've been pulling all the information off. Look at the man. He could pass for Spanish, right? Why not go off to Mexico? I just don't know about this. To me, it leaves a lot of questions, but let's continue. The U.S. Marshal Service wrote in the federal court documents that the Decker sisters were found at the campground about 11 miles from the Pacific Crest Trail. The PCT is a well-established trail that runs along the entire west coast of the U.S. from Mexico to Canada. Mexico to Canada. Leave a note that you're headed to Canada, basically, by searching for that. Hit that trail and go directly to Mexico. Remember, California is one of the places you would probably go through, and the last thing they're looking for is a manhunt for him because LA is all crazy right now. A lot of cray cray. So if you look at what he's going through, Utah, Nevada, all these places are desert-like. That's where his experience is. And this trail that they're assuming he would go to Canada, where if he's thinking long-term, he ain't going to be no nature boy in Canada very long. I don't care how long his training is without getting caught. So why wouldn't he go south is my question. And he could have got there very easily with nobody even knowing because he wasn't a wanted man for 4 days. All right, let me get myself off here so we can continue to read this. The Chilling County Sheriff's Office said there were more than 100 officers involved in the search for Decker, which covered rugged terrain in the Cascade Mountains of central Washington, and more than 500 tips had poured in from the public. So these are the actual addresses that the man searched, right? He visited Find a Job Canada. He searched for jobs in Canada, did another search for jobs, all on Google. He searched for how to relocate, and he searched for, what's that say? How a person moved to Canada. I think that's a misdirect. I think he planned this, in my humble opinion. And I'm wondering, why wouldn't he go to Mexico? If he's long term, which he is, leaving his life behind, why not go to a warm climate that you wouldn't have to face a horrific winter in, that you're going to blend in with everyone, right? I mean, let's take a look at him.
Killing his own 3 daughters. Good afternoon.
Let's just take a look at him for a minute. Do you think he could blend in Mexico? I do. I think he has a lot more chance of going south. So I hope they're not going the wrong way and putting a lot of search into something that isn't going to amount to a hill of beans. I hope not. I hope they know what they're doing. It's scary. What are your thoughts, you guys? Before we get into this next part, let me get on to comments. Oh, no worries, OKG. No worries. Love you. Okay, so you guys are mostly just tuning in. Not much as a comment right now. Okay, just checking, making sure I'm not like forgetting something. Let's go back over here. Let's go here. So manhunt intensifies. Here we go. They think they're closing in on the suspect. Just before 9, well, that is small. Just before 9:30, the CCSO posted an update on Facebook that reads, law enforcement is searching for suspect Travis Decker in the area of Ingalls Creek and Valley High, as he is believed to potentially be in the area. Please secure your homes and vehicles, stay alert, and report any suspicious activity to 911. Residents and visitors will see a visible increase in law enforcement presence tonight as a precaution. Your safety remains a top priority. If you see something, say something. Shortly, just before 10:30 p.m., the Kittis County Sheriff posted the following update on Facebook. Authorities conducting the search for suspected Killer Travis Decker have narrowed the search area and are concentrating around Ingalls Creek. This is just a few miles north of several trails and trailheads accessible to the North Fork Tenaway Road. Deputies and tactical teams are in place and patrolling to find and arrest Decker. Okay, here's the part I want you to listen to, where I was saying they're literally trying to push him out of the woods. So it says, and patrolling, let me reread that statement. Deputies and tactical teams are in place and patrolling to find and arrest Decker if the search drives him into our area. So when they are talking about drives, like I said, it took me back to my deer hunting days. You spread out and you push a drive through the woods, through the natural terrain, because it kicks a deer ahead of you. Meanwhile, you have an entire team assembled at all the areas that the deer are going to come running out of. And so they are literally on a man hunt for Decker, which is horrifying to think about, that he's got himself, he's done this and put himself in this position. It's just a miserable place because no one is winning. These 3 babies should be able to grow up and get married and have children and grandkids. There was no excuse and no reason for any of this. We can't say, oh, he just snapped. That's not there when you have the means that were taken against these 3 little beautiful girls. They should be in dance class. But instead, they're gone. And now we're on this manhunt trying to drive this animal out of the woods. And face it, that's where we are right now. That's how I see it. It's just shocking. All right, let's continue. Residents and visitors are asked to secure your property and be on alert. Now, listen to this. Decker was previously in the Army and has extensive training in navigation, woodland, mountainous terrain, long distance movements, survival, and numerous other disciplines needed to be able to police, says the court document. Now, we're going to switch over to ABC News now. And I thought this was interesting. ABC News did a good job of going into a little bit more detail of what Travis did with his military training and where was he stationed and when was he stationed, so that we kind of get a better understanding of what kind of ability Travis would have. And this is one of the reasons I personally believe that Travis may have went south towards Mexico. I mean, the route that they're checking goes either to Canada or Mexico. So it's like roll the dice. Where is Travis going to have a long-term success at, Canada or Mexico? He had a 4-day head start. So ABC News says federal authorities are now leading the manhunt for Decker with hundreds of square miles searched so far. Law enforcement members have searched the forested area and dozens of structures that Decker was last known to be in. Did you catch that? Last known to be in. So they definitely have a lot more evidence. They are saying that they have a lot more evidence. So they're saying they knew he was in there. All right. According to the Chilling County Sheriff's Office, Decker is homeless and has been living in his vehicle or at various motels and campgrounds in the area. Is currently wanted for the 3 counts of first-degree red rum, which is passing of the girls, and 3 counts of first-degree kid grabbing. Police said, again, YouTube makes us talk like we're first graders. He is an Army veteran with extensive training, but it is unknown whether he is currently armed. Officials said Decker was deployed. Okay, this is where I want you to listen. In Afghanistan in 2014, according to the spokesman for Washington State Military Department. So Afghanistan's desert. So's Utah. So's Nevada. And a lot of those states that he would have to go through, he would be more prepared for that type of situation, I believe. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Hey, Claire, good to see you. I know it cuts my mouth off. I'll try to sit up tall. Regardless is there some way to fix this? Hold on. There's got to be a way. No, there's not. It's just so dang big. Claire says, regardless on his mental state, he knew he was doing wrong. It bugs me how people say he's mentally ill, and but I don't like people. Thank you for sharing, love. That girl, I hope them is under heavy protection. I think you mean the mother. I mean, he may come for her. That would be a concern of mine, too. Hope the mom is under heavy protection. I absolutely do, too. I absolutely do too. So then we're going to switch over here to ABC News. So we went CBS News and the other news outlets. I thought, why not ABC? And I found a little nugget that kind of gives us an understanding here. Like I said, that in 2014, he was deployed to Afghanistan. So the trail goes either Canada or Mexico. Well, hit the mic. What way he's going to go? Are we just being told in public that that's the way they're tracking him? Or are they all up here because of some little message that he Googled on his phone, threw the phone in the truck so that they just simply follow Occam's razor, which is what law enforcement usually does. Easiest answer is the answer. We're going to go that way. He said he was going to Canada. We see it right here in Google search. Meanwhile, Travis Decker isn't just crazy everybody thinks. He's more strategic. He's purposely thrown that in there, and he's headed south to Mexico. That's my worry. Let's get into this a little bit more because we're going to listen to next. After this, we're going to listen to the father-in-law of Travis Decker. Now, it's not his voice, but it is absolutely his words, and it's being shared by a news broadcast and what his thoughts are. So this kind of goes hand in hand. Decker has also been charged in federal court with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, according to the affidavit filed by the Deputy U.S. Marshal Keegan Stanley. In that case, Decker is training in navigation, survival, and other skills that make him a, quote, a very avid and well-versed outdoorsman. Decker once spent 2.5 months in the backwoods living off-grid, Stanley wrote, and in the days before he took the girls, he searched online for how to relocate to and find a job in Canada. Like I said, to me, I'm thinking that's a red herring, but then what do I know? Okay, let me see where I can move myself. Decker was an infantryman in the Army from March of 2013 to July of 2021. Y'all, this man has 8 years of training in the military, 8 years, and deployed to Afghanistan for 4 months in 2014, according to Army spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Ruth Castro. From 2014 to 2016, he was an automatic rifleman with the 75th Ranger Regiment at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington. We are talking extensive background. That girl, what if he never left? Well, I think they would have found him if he hadn't left, but that's just my humble opinion. Ocean Deep, good to see you, said he could be very close, being in the Army. He knows this while they search far and wide. He may be still near, in my opinion. Thank you, lovely. Thank you for sharing. Yes, very good survival skills indeed.
His own 3 daughters. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for Fox 13 News at 4. I'm Matthew Smith.
I'm Hannah Kim. The manhunt comes as we're now learning that Travis Decker recently searched for information about how to relocate to Canada. Fox 13 Shira Matsuzawa joins us from Leavenworth, where those search efforts stand right now.
Circling up above.
Helicopters going back and forth.
This is what those camped out at the Icicle River RV Resort have been seeing in the air and on the ground.
There's been a police presence, and last night, late at night, there was a searchlight down on the water, so I know the police were searching here.
They're searching for 32-year-old Travis Decker after his daughters Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia failed to come home after a planned visitation with him. Their bodies were later found near his abandoned pickup truck. Investigators now believe he could be attempting to cross state or even international borders.
I personally don't think he'd be coming out in public.
Fox 13 obtained this criminal complaint against Decker, charging him with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. In it, federal investigators say Decker used his Google account on May 26th just 4 days before his visitation with his daughters, to search for information about relocating to Canada and visited official Canadian job sites. The documents state the area where the crimes happened are near the Pacific Coast Trail and lead into Canada. And given Decker's skills to survive the woods for days, even weeks, investigators say he could be actively attempting to not get caught. For Lisa Malone-Gooden, she hopes authorities find Decker soon.
This is horrendous. Nothing like most people would ever hear about.
I don't know. I know a lot of you are wondering, could he have stayed close to home? They would have found him. I'm just saying, have you any idea? We have the National Guard out there. We've got the U.S. Marshal heading this up. We have every effort. Dogs. I mean, if he would have stayed put, they would have found him by now in that location. He's on the move, in my opinion. And he's got a choice. He's 11 miles from a choice. He can either go to Canada or he can go to Mexico. He's got 4 days before they're going to look for him. He could have got to either location. And yeah, he has a passport. You're going to hear how he has a passport. So we're going to jump over here and listen to his father-in-law's words, because he's thinking like me.
Grandchildren. He did not want to do a recorded interview when I talked to him, but he told me, and then he sent me some very strong opinions about his former son-in-law and how he believes the court system failed his family. According to Whitney Decker's father, Chris Richter, Travis Decker's behavior changed dramatically after he left the Army. He tells me Travis started binge drinking and behaving out of what Richter calls pure selfishness. He said this about his daughter Whitney: she was absolutely failed by the system there. She did everything she could to protect her kids. He got his way, and this is what we're left with. He also told me about Travis Decker's instability, saying, quote, Travis got out of the military and got sick of adulting, being married, going to work every day, and being a dad, so he left. He went on to add, quote, Travis was first living in a trailer that was repossessed, and then he lived in his truck for over a year. Richter says his former son-in-law pressed to visit his kids, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia, saying, quote, he finally got a job day laboring, enough to get up and get paid enough to see the kids. Whitney hired a lawyer to represent her to get child support, hoping to not give visitation overnight. She wanted supervised visits. But Richter tells me Travis Decker fought in court for visitation with a court-ordered attorney. Quote, Travis met enough markers laid out by the court while homeless, living in his truck, that they awarded him unsupervised visits. Last Friday was his very first unsupervised visit.
Last Friday was his very first unsupervised visit. What?
As for Travis Decker's whereabouts, Richter, who also served in the military, does not believe he has the skills nor the supplies to survive in the wilderness. Richter believes Decker planned the murder and his escape, saying, quote, he has a passport. He could have left the country with a 3-day head start. His arrest warrant wasn't even issued until Monday.
Just saying.
Clearly, so much emotion tied up in this, and it's hard for anyone to believe that they know someone capable of this. Did he say that he had concerns about violence like this?
I asked him about that, and he said he was a kind of a typical Army guy, you know. He said, you know, full of personality and kind of full of himself a little bit. He did not believe that he was capable of this kind of evil. And he said anybody who fully understands what Travis Decker may have done here is as crazy, quote, as he is. He says you cannot understand this. No. So it shocked him, shocked the whole family.
I mean, clearly he didn't mince words there either with just his opinions on everything that's happened.
So the father-in-law feels extremely much that this is pre-planned and that he was just sick of adulting and that he was seeing signs of that well before this took place. But he also stated that this is the first time Decker's had unsupervised visits. which is something's not quite right, because I also heard through court papers that he had the girls, and Decker had the girls in previous visits and had them in the homeless shelters overnight, sleeping on the floor. So that wasn't supervised. So maybe this was the first unsupervised visit since the visitation got restricted. Not sure on that. But that is what we have right now for an update on Travis Decker and the three beautiful little girls. So now we know that what we've been waiting on was timeline and the autopsy results and the time of death. And that's been released that it was most likely on Friday when he picked up the girls, was the same day that they met their demise, which is very worrisome, even more so because that just gave Travis that much of a head start of getting away with this. And I pray to God he's not going to get away with this. Thank you, Rach, so very much. You are so kind. Thank you, lovely. Look, I'm hidden. That's what I mean. I don't understand why my little things are so dang huge. Is there a different setting or something? Let me look. Let's get over here. Could I do it? Oh, there's different settings. Learn something new every day. All right, you guys, my call to action. Look at that. My call to action, you guys, today, if you would please do me a strong, solid, put your positive energy towards a few things. I have 3. I would love Travis Decker to be found so that we can begin to sort this all out and get to the real truth and get justice for the little girls. I would love for Lily and Jack Sullivan to be found, 6-year-old and 4-year-old missing out of Nova Scotia. I'm praying to God, please, please, please let these babies be found. Missing since May 2nd. I've been covering that case from the beginning. As well as this case on the Decker case. I actually was covering this case when the girls were still missing, but by the end of my very first day, they had discontinued an endangered missing alert, but they didn't tell us anything until the following day, which now we know was horrific news. And then my third call to action would be if you could also put your positive energy towards Jay Slater. We have the unpaused inquest coming up. In other words, it's on pause while they try to get the witnesses present that should be there. But they don't really have jurisdiction over people that don't live in the UK. And none of these people seem to be really listening. We'll see. We'll see. We need the truth to come out for Jay Slater. So those are my humble wishes, is that we would put our energy towards that. I love you all very, very much. And I pray that we get Travis Decker found. Just bring it to a close. I suspect, personally, I'm wondering, why would he not go towards Mexico? He's got a 4-day head start where he's nothing but a civilian, free as a bird. Nobody's even given him a second thought. He's got 4 days to make it, and he could have stockpiled money anywhere. He had a day job, right? But he had no bills because he was living homeless. All right, my loves. With that being said, I love you so incredibly much. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll try and do my very best to keep you updated as we continue. Love you to the moon and back.